Washington, off the mark, and it's over. It's March. Expect the unexpected. Oral Roberts has pulled off the upset.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 craziest moments in March Madness history.
Arkansas having trouble getting out. USC with the play. It's in! It's in! USC! Let's see. Will they play a count? It's all over.
Duke has done it. Duke has upset UNLV. R.J. Hunter for three. Good!
For this list, we'll be looking at the most intense, shocking, and inspiring moments in the history of the NCAA Men's March Madness Tournament. As moments from the women's tournament warrant their own list, they are not included. What's your all-time favorite moment from March Madness? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. And if you're dying for more sports content, be sure to check out WatchMojo's new podcast, The Waterboys Podcast, available wherever you get your pods. Number 10. Tyus Edneys' long last second drive, UCLA versus Missouri, 1995. The top-seeded UCLA Bruins thought their tournament run was coming to an early end when they faced the Missouri Tigers in the second round.
5 seconds. More inside. Winfield.
With only 4.8 seconds left on the clock and Missouri up by 1, UCLA senior Tyus Edney took the ball the entire length of the court and made an incredible shot as the buzzer sounded, winning the game for the Bruins.
Edney going the distance. Yes!
This amazing last-second win allowed UCLA to move forward, and the Bruins were ultimately crowned the victors of the 1995 tournament when they defeated Arkansas in the national championship and won their first title in 20 years.
There was a wizard in the stands and some magic on the floor. Jim Herrick and UCLA can hang a banner in Westwood.
Number 9. Chris Jenkins wins Villanova's national title. Villanova versus UNC 2016. The 2016 national championship game between the Villanova Wildcats and the North Carolina Tar Heels was one for the ages. With under 5 seconds left on the clock, North Carolina tied the game with a three-pointer.
It's Page off balance. Puts it up. Impossible. How did he do that? Ties the game with 4.7 seconds to go.
To avoid going into overtime, Villanova had to pull off something miraculous. And indeed they did. In perhaps the most intense 1.6 seconds in tournament history, Wildcat Ryan Archidiakono made an amazing pass to Chris Jenkins, who sank a three-pointer at the buzzer.
Gives it to Jenkins for the championship. The national champions with Jenkins hitting the winner at the buzzer.
Jenkins' shot won the game for Villanova and secured the Wildcats' first national title in more than 3 decades.
National championship buzzer beater for the title. How good is that? Big smooth.
Number 8. Mario's Miracle, Kansas versus Memphis, 2008. 18 minutes into the second half of the 2008 national championship game between the Kansas Jayhawks and the Memphis Tigers, Memphis led the game by 9 points. No one expected the Jayhawks to come back, but luckily for them, the Tigers missed 4 out of their 5 free throws, allowing Kansas to narrow the gap to 3 points. With only 2.1 seconds left on the clock, Kansas point guard Mario Chalmers hit a three-pointer, sending the game into only the 7th overtime in championship history.
Chalmers for the tie. Got it with 2 seconds. Unbelievable. Dozier at midcourt for the championship. No, we're going to overtime in San Antonio.
Driven by what is now called Mario's Miracle, the Jayhawks went on to win their first national title since 1988.
A Kansas comeback for the history books. Rock Chalk Championship. Kansas takes the title.
Number 7. Keith Smart's title-winning jumper, Indiana versus Syracuse, 1987. To paraphrase Eminem, sometimes you get one shot to seize everything you ever wanted. In the case of Keith Smart and the Indiana Hoosiers, that particular shot came during their last possession in the 1987 National Championship game against the Syracuse Orange. With only 10 seconds left on the clock, Indiana trailed Syracuse by 1 point. Junior Hoosier Keith Smart received the ball. Just before the buzzer, Smart made a 16-foot jumper from the wing and the arena exploded.
Smart takes the shot, and the Hoosiers with 3 seconds. Go ahead.
Nobody stopped the clock. Nobody stopped the clock.
But the clock did stop at the 1 second mark. Syracuse with a timeout.
Smart's incredible field goal, now often referred to as the shot by Hoosiers fans, sealed the deal and secured Indiana's 5th national title.
Indiana wins the championship. Keith Smart is the hero.
Number 6. Michael Jordan's game-winning shot. UNC versus Georgetown, 1982. The 1982 national championship game between the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Georgetown Hoyas featured 6 future Hall of Famers, including Patrick Ewing and James Worthy, but its standout star was a 19-year-old UNC player from Wilmington.
Remember this, the next hell ball would go to Georgetown as Jordan on the...
Oh, what a layup! He put that ball up about 12 feet. Left hand.
With the Tar Heels down by 1 and under 20 seconds left on the clock, North Carolina freshman Michael Jordan made a jumper from the wing, pushing UNC ahead of the Hoyas.
18. Shot. Jordan. Michael Jordan.
14 seconds.
The Tar Heels' victory was sealed when Georgetown player Fred Brown accidentally passed the ball to UNC's James Worthy.
Look for Sleepy Floyd. Look.
Oh, he threw it to the wrong man. He threw it to Worthy.
It's over. It's over.
He's fouled by Eric Smith. Fred Brown somehow or another threw the ball into the hands of James Worthy.
Not only was the night memorable because North Carolina won its first title since 1957, but the world got its first glimpse at an athlete who would go on to become the most well-known and arguably greatest basketball player of all time. Number 5. The Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird rivalry is born. Indiana State versus Michigan State, 1979.
Bird inside to score. College basketball's player of the year, Larry Bird, has 6 points.
The world got its first taste of one of basketball's greatest rivalries during the 1979 national championship game between the Indiana State Sycamores and the Michigan State Spartans. National Player of the Year Larry Bird and his Sycamores had a 33-0 record, and all that stood between them and postseason perfection was Michigan State and its star player Earvin Magic Johnson.
Here goes Johnson, and the foul is on number 30 of Indiana State, Bob Heaton. He can't believe it.
Indiana State was favored to win the game, but the Spartans ultimately upset the Sycamores to take home the title in what was, at the time, the most watched college basketball event in history.
It's all over. Michigan State University, national champions, 1979.
Number 4, Texas Western wins historic title game over Kentucky. Texas Western versus Kentucky, 1966.
We're ready to go. Stand by. The game is underway.
By the time the 1966 March Madness tournament was held, most college basketball teams were integrated, but one team made history by being the first to have a title game starting 5 that consisted solely of African American players, the Texas Western Miners. In the championship game, the Miners faced the Kentucky Wildcats, whose team was composed only of white players, a decision reportedly made by their head coach Adolph Rupp. Texas Western was considered the underdog, but coach Don Haskins and his groundbreaking team defeated the Wildcats 72-65 and won the title.
The ball game is over. Lloyd Datcher sits down right in the middle of the floor. Pat Riley stands dejectedly looking at the floor as Kentucky has lost the championship game for the first time in their history.
Their historic victory earned the team a spot in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame and inspired the book and film Glory Road. Number 3, Villanova upsets Georgetown in national title game. Villanova versus Georgetown, 1985. In 1985, the 8th seed Villanova Wildcats began their March Madness run as an underdog squad. No one could have predicted they would have made it past the Final Four, but Villanova exceeded everyone's expectations to make it to the championship game.
McClain with a spinning move is tied it at 20.
He turned around coming back up court and spit on the floor like, take that, fellas.
Look at this shooting percentage against Georgetown.
They faced the intimidating 1-seed Georgetown Hoyas, who were led by future NBA superstar Patrick Ewing.
They get inside to Dwayne McClain. Ewing rejected it.
The Wildcats then stunned the nation by not only winning, but by making more than 75% of their shots during the national championship game.
That's it. Villanova has done it.
Number 2, Christian Laettner's miraculous buzzer beater, Duke versus Kentucky, 1992. The 1992 Elite Eight showdown between the Duke Blue Devils and Kentucky Wildcats was an intense battle featuring some of the NCAA's best talent at the time. The game went into overtime, and with only 2.1 seconds left, Kentucky led the game by 1 point.
7.8 seconds remaining. Woods. Yes!
The Blue Devils weren't going to give up without a fight though, and in one of the most incredible plays in college basketball history, Duke's Grant Hill made a 3/4 court pass to Christian Laettner. Laettner faked his defender, then made an 18-foot spinning fadeaway shot that secured Duke's spot in the Final Four.
Puts it up. Yes!
The Blue Devils ultimately went on to win the national title for the second year in a row. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Bo Kimball honors the late Hank Gathers with a left-handed free throw. Loyola Marymount versus New Mexico State, 1990.
Well, excuse me, I was a terrible free throw shooter, but that one looked good from the time it left his hand.
Bryce Drew's incredible buzzer beater, Valparaiso versus Ole Miss, 1998.
It's to Jenkins, the Drew for the win! Gone! He did it! Bryce Drew did it! Valpo has won the game! A miracle!
Underdog George Mason reaches the Final Four. George Mason versus UConn, 2006.
Denham Brown for 3. No good! By George! The dream is alive!
Chris Webber's attempt to call a timeout causes a technical foul. Michigan versus UNC, 1993.
Michigan will have to bring it.
Oh, he walked! He walked and the referee missed it!
Weber brings it into the front court. They have no timeouts remaining.
Oh, he causes too many timeouts. That's a technical foul.
He called a timeout. Michigan doesn't have any.
Lifted by the prayers of the legendary Sister Jean, Loyola Chicago makes it to the Final Four. Loyola Chicago versus Kansas State, 2018.
That's it!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Underdog NC State beats Houston in the national title game. NC State versus Houston, 1983. The NC State Wolfpack entered the 1983 tournament as a 6th seed and an automatic underdog.
Outside as well, Bailey. Now that's gonna shock a lot of people. NC State going right at him.
Against expectations, the Wolfpack made it to the national championship game, only to face the extraordinary 1-seed Houston Cougars, who were also known as the Phi Slamma Jamma Squad.
Here's Misha. Hakeem.
The teams battled down to the wire, and the game was tied with the clock winding down.
Well, this has been something. One and the other surging. They're all even. 44 seconds to decide the issue.
NC State player Derek Wittenberg threw the ball to the basket, and even though his shot came up short, his teammate Lorenzo Charles leapt up and saved the shot by dunking the ball just before the buzzer, securing the win for the Wolfpack.
Wittenberg. Oh, that's a long ways. They won it.
The pure joy felt by the team was epitomized by NC State's head coach Jim Valvano, who ran across the court trying to find someone to hug as soon as the game ended. Just a reminder, if you can't get enough sports, head over to your preferred podcasting app to check out WatchMojo's Waterboys podcast.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.